According to the Department of Housing and Urban Development, an estimated 2 million people were experiencing homelessness on a single night in 2023. This represents a significant increase of 15% compared to 2022, highlighting a worsening trend. The AHAR report reveals that nearly 60% homeless people were reported living on the streets, in cars, or in other places not meant for human habitation, facing harsher conditions and greater vulnerability. The number of chronically homeless individuals in America has reached alarming heights. Over 440,000 people in the United States were estimated to be chronically homeless. This constitutes nearly 22% of the total homeless population, highlighting the significant portion grappling with long-term homelessness. The National Alliance to End Homelessness reports that families with children make up about 30% of the homeless population. An estimated 186,100 children experienced homelessness on a single night in January 2023. This translates to a concerning 16% increase compared to 2022, and a staggering 77% increase since 2006. These statistics reveal a growing crisis, disproportionately impacting children of color. The recent surge in migrant arrivals in the USA has placed a complex strain on social services, particularly in the area of homelessness. U.S. Customs and Border Protection reported a record-breaking number of encounters at the U.S.-Mexico border in fiscal year 2023. These encounters, exceeding 5.2 million, surpassed the previous year's high. However, this number includes apprehensions of individuals attempting unauthorized entry, not just total arrivals. When we consider legal immigration channels, the State Department reported issuing over 13.4 million temporary visas in fiscal year 2023. Demographics of homelessness in America. According to the National Alliance to End Homelessness, while white Americans make up around 76% of the general population, they only constitute about 49% of the homeless population nationally. This translates to a rate of approximately 15 white people experiencing homelessness per 10,000 in the general population. This data suggests that white people are underrepresented in the homeless population, compared to their share of the overall population. While African Americans comprise roughly 13% of the general population according to the U.S. Census Bureau, they make up a staggering 37% of people experiencing homelessness. This disparity is even more pronounced for homeless families with children, where Black families account for over 50%. Similarly, indigenous populations face a disproportionate burden. Native Americans, Alaska Natives, represent just 1% of the U.S. population, but constitute 5% of the homeless population. Cost of homelessness in America. The National Alliance to End Homelessness calculated that in 2021, the U.S. federal government enacted over $51 billion in funding for selected homelessness and housing programs. In a 2015 study, researchers estimated that the total revenues for nonprofits providing shelter to people experiencing homelessness were approximately $13.5 billion, some of which likely includes some federal funding. In 2023, America spent $59 billion through its Homelessness Strategies Department. Most of this was spent on outside contracts, which likely include programs offered by homelessness service providers. According to the National Alliance to End Homelessness report for January 2024, the nationwide homelessness cost should be from $35 billion to $50 billion. A person experiencing chronic homelessness costs the taxpayer an average of $50,200 a year. A 2023 audit by the California State Auditor estimated that the state had spent $32 billion over the past 5 years. This amount includes funding for shelters, rent subsidies, and Project Homekey, a program converting hotels into housing. Despite spending over $32 billion, California's homeless population continued to grow. Here's a list of the 7 most homeless states in America. 7. Massachusetts. According to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, over 89,200 individuals were identified as homeless in Massachusetts in 2023. This number represents a concerning rise, with a 23.4% increase from 2022. Furthermore, These figures only capture those experiencing homelessness on a single night. Neglecting the hidden homeless population. Individuals couchsurfing or living in overcrowded conditions. The influx of migrants has placed immense pressure on the state's emergency shelter system. Many homeless families in Massachusetts come from countries ravaged by political instability and economic collapse. Seeking safety and opportunity, they embark on perilous journeys, often arriving with nothing but clothes. The Pew Research Center estimated that Massachusetts had around 470,000 undocumented immigrants in 2022. This figure represents approximately 5.3% of the state's total population. The influx of migrants has undeniably impacted existing homeless populations. Shelters are overcrowded, resources are stretched thin, and wait times for permanent housing have lengthened. This has led to concerns that long-term homeless residents may be overlooked in the scramble to accommodate the new arrivals. 6. Oregon. Oregon presents a stark contrast to the growing crisis of homelessness within its borders. While the state represents only 1.3% of the U.S. population, it holds a disproportionately high number of homeless individuals, roughly 3.1% of the national total. According to a 2023 report by Axios, Oregon likely has around 97,000 residents experiencing homelessness. This number represents a record high for the state, with a disproportionate number around 70% living unsheltered on the streets, in cars, or other inadequate housing. The situation in Oregon is further complicated by a rising trend in homelessness. Reports from 2023 indicate an 8.5% increase in the homeless population compared to 2022. The roots of homelessness in Oregon are multifaceted. A significant factor is the lack of affordable housing. Rents have skyrocketed in recent years, outpacing wage growth and pushing low-income residents towards housing insecurity. This is particularly acute in urban centers like Portland, where the homeless population has risen by a staggering 65% since 2015. 5. Texas. Data from the Texas Homeless Network dashboard indicates roughly 103,902 people experiencing homelessness in Texas. This translates to 42,663 households, suggesting a significant number of families facing unstable housing situations. Families with children constitute a substantial segment of the homeless population in Texas. THN reports that families make up approximately 41% of those experiencing homelessness. Roughly 15% of the total homeless population in 2023 were under 18. Texas has witnessed a significant decrease in its reported homeless population over the past decade. The Texas State Affordable Housing Corporation reports a decline from roughly 153,282 people in 2015 to 103,902 in 2022. Between 2017 and 2020, the sheltered homeless population in Texas decreased by 11%, and the unsheltered population by 5%. 4. Washington. According to the 2023 point-in-time count conducted by the state, an estimated 163,200 people were experiencing homelessness on a single night. This number represents a 8,825-person increase from 2022 and reflects a troubling trend. The National Alliance to End Homelessness reports a similar figure of 150,200. Highlighting the inherent difficulties in obtaining a precise count. Washington has a significant challenge with youth homelessness. An estimated 33,000 people between the ages of 12 and 24 are experiencing homelessness. Race and ethnicity play a significant role in homelessness rates. Black or African American residents, despite comprising only 6% of Washington's population, make up roughly 18% of the homeless population. Similarly, indigenous people are disproportionately affected, with 13% experiencing homelessness, compared to the 4% who identify as such in the general population. White Americans, on the other hand, have a much lower rate, with around 15 per 10,000 people experiencing homelessness. 3. Florida. The most recent data suggests that Florida has an estimated homeless population of 207,200. This represents a decrease from previous years, with a January 2020 count showing 227,200 homeless individuals. While this decline is encouraging, the number remains worryingly high. FCEH reports that only 20.8% of homeless individuals in Florida are chronically homeless, defined as having a disability and experiencing homelessness long-term. Florida's warm climate undoubtedly plays a role in migration patterns. Some individuals experiencing homelessness might be drawn to the state seeking refuge from harsher winters. Recent studies suggest a possible link between rising homelessness and the influx of migrants, particularly from Central and South America. The 2023 AHAR report noted a significant increase in the number of homeless Hispanic, Latino individuals, with many seeking shelter in temporary facilities. According to the Kaiser Family Foundation, an estimated 1.8 million people, or roughly 8% of the state's total population, are immigrants. This diverse group comes from various countries, with Cuba, Haiti, Colombia, Mexico, and Jamaica being some of the most common origins. 2. New York. New York City, a global symbol of prosperity, grapples with a persistent and heartbreaking issue: homelessness. While the exact number is difficult to determine, estimates suggest a staggering number of people lack safe and permanent housing. According to the Coalition for the Homeless, a leading advocacy group, over 303,520 people in New York City lacked a permanent home in March 2024. This staggering number includes individuals utilizing shelters and the unsheltered population. The unsheltered population is particularly difficult to quantify. Estimates from 2019 suggest around 163,600 individuals faced unsheltered homelessness, but this number is likely an undercount due to the transient nature of this population. Adding another layer of complexity are those who are doubled up, meaning they precariously share housing with friends or family due to economic hardship. This group is difficult to quantify, but the Coalition for the Homeless estimates it to be over 200,000 in New York City. 1. California. The most recent data from the 2023 point-in-time count conducted by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, over 391,399 people were experiencing homelessness in California. This staggering number represents several concerning realities. Firstly, California holds a disproportionate share of the national homeless population, with slightly less than 12% of the U.S. population. The state accounts for over 32% of the nation's homeless individuals. This translates to a per capita rate of homelessness that is among the highest in the country, with an estimated 0.66% of California residents lacking stable shelter. Secondly, California has the dubious distinction of the highest percentage of unsheltered homeless people in the nation. Over two-thirds, or roughly 223,423 people, sleep on the streets, in encampments, or in vehicles. This number is a stark reminder of the harsh realities faced by many homeless Californians. For context, California has 8 times as many unsheltered homeless individuals as the state with the second highest total. According to the most recent PIT count data 2022, there were 82,544 homeless children identified in California. This number represents only a fraction of the potential homeless child population. School enrollment data paints a more concerning picture. The California Department of Education reported that 129,288 students experienced homelessness during the 2021 school year. Life on the streets. Inside, huddled beneath a threadbare blanket, sat Sarah, 19 years old and a veteran of the streets by no choice of her own. Her life wasn't always like this. A year ago, she was a high school senior with dreams of college and a career in art. But when her mom lost her job and their tiny apartment, a downward spiral began. Arguments turned into fights, fights into eviction, and eviction into a sidewalk that became her unwelcome bed. Days were a relentless scramble for survival. Sarah woke before dawn, the city's chill a rude awakening. She'd use public restrooms for a meager toilette, then head to shelters or community kitchens for a hot breakfast, the lines often stretching for blocks. Food pantries offered some sustenance, but fresh produce was a rare luxury. In between, it was panhandling. The sting of rejection a constant companion. Enough for a sandwich, maybe a bus ticket to another part of town was a victory. Danger lurked everywhere. Predatory men, both homeless and not, saw vulnerability in her youth. The nights were the worst. Sleep was stolen in fits and starts. One eye open for trouble. Libraries offered a brief respite, a chance to charge her phone. A lifeline to a social worker back at the shelter. And maybe even lose herself in a book, a reminder of the life she'd lost. But Sarah was tough. She had a resilience born of desperation. She befriended other homeless youth. A network of shared experiences and a small comfort in the vast indifference of the city. A local art program offered a glimmer of hope. Using donated supplies, she poured her experiences onto canvases. The vibrant colors a stark contrast to the bleakness of her surroundings. One day a gallery owner spotted her work. He saw the raw talent beneath the grime. The story etched in every brushstroke. He offered her a small exhibition showcasing her art. The night of the opening. Sarah stood awkwardly beside her paintings. The once familiar faces of the city now staring back at her from the canvas. Not with pity, but with understanding. A tear escaped, a mix of sorrow for the life she lost, and a spark of hope for the one she might rebuild. Sarah's story isn't unique. Thousands of young people face homelessness in America, but it's a story of resilience too. A testament to the human spirit's ability to find beauty even in the darkest of corners. It's a story that begs the question: can a society that allows its youth to fall through the cracks truly call itself successful? Homeless encampment bans in America. The legal foundation for homeless encampment bans often rests on municipal ordinances and state laws designed to regulate the use of public spaces. These laws typically fall under the broader category of public nuisance statutes, which grant cities the authority to remove encampments that are deemed to obstruct public access, pose health hazards, or contribute to crime. For instance, the City of Los Angeles enforces Municipal Code Section 56(11), which prohibits the storage of personal property in public areas. Similarly, the City of Portland has implemented a set of policies under the One Point of Contact system, aimed at rapidly removing encampments that pose significant health and safety risks. However, these legal frameworks have faced significant challenges in court. One notable case is Martin versus City of Boise, a landmark decision by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals in 2018. The court ruled that cities cannot criminalize sleeping in public spaces if there are no adequate alternatives, such as available shelter beds. This decision was grounded in the Eighth Amendment's prohibition against cruel and unusual punishment, effectively limiting the ability of cities within the Ninth Circuit to enforce blanket bans on homeless encampments without providing sufficient shelter options. This ruling has set a significant precedent, compelling municipalities to reconsider their approaches to managing homeless populations. Critics of encampment bans argue that these policies merely displace homeless individuals, without offering meaningful solutions to their plight. When encampments are cleared, residents often lose their personal belongings, including identification documents, medications, and items of sentimental value. This displacement can exacerbate the trauma experienced by homeless individuals, and make it even more difficult for them to access services and stabilize their lives. Moreover, the criminalization of homelessness can lead to a cycle of arrests, fines, and jail time, which further entangles individuals in the criminal justice system and hinders their ability to secure housing and employment. Proponents of encampment bans, however, contend that these measures are necessary to maintain public health and safety. By enforcing bans, cities aim to reclaim public spaces for their intended use and encourage homeless individuals to seek help through available services and shelters. Nevertheless, the effectiveness of encampment bans is questionable. Without sufficient investment in affordable housing, mental health services, and substance abuse treatment, the underlying issues driving homelessness remain unaddressed. In many cities, the availability of shelter beds and supportive housing falls far short of the demand. This mismatch underscores the need for comprehensive strategies that go beyond enforcement and address the structural causes of homelessness. Some cities are experimenting with alternative approaches that seek to balance the need for public order with compassion for homeless individuals. For example, the city of San Francisco has implemented a navigation center model, which provides temporary shelter coupled with intensive case management and support services. These centers are designed to be more accommodating than traditional shelters, allowing pets, partners, and possessions, and aim to transition individuals into stable housing. Similarly, Houston has adopted a housing-first approach, prioritizing the provision of permanent housing as a precursor to addressing other issues like employment and substance abuse. In conclusion, the issue of homeless encampment bans in America is complex, involving legal considerations, public health concerns, and humanitarian principles. While bans may offer short-term relief for communities grappling with visible homelessness, they do not provide a sustainable solution to the crisis. Effective strategies require a multifaceted approach that includes legal protections, adequate shelter and housing options, and comprehensive support services, balancing the rights and needs of homeless individuals with the interests of the broader community remains a challenging but essential endeavor for policymakers, advocates, and citizens alike.